Did the Kushites rule Egypt? What are the origins of the 25th dynasty? Did the rulers of the 25th dynasty mention that they were Africans or Kushitians? How the Kushites perceived their legitimacy as rulers in Egypt. What extent the Kushites adopted traditional concepts of Egyptian kingship ideology. To know the answer to these questions, please stay with me. I'm Nazi Suleiman, an Egyptian archaeologist. I'm going to tell you more about Afrocentric. Please stay with me. Redford mentions a text in his article titled, Redford, Review, Ancient Egyptian Co-Regencies in Haya 69, pp. 181-183. In keeping with Redford, Kitchen, 2006, pages 293-294, also maintains his previous 25th dynasty chronology. Further, he infers that Shabaiku served only as deputy in Kush in 706 BC. But before going into the details of these and other articles, there are things that must be known at the beginning, and these things will help us in a greater understanding of the issue of the Egyptian 25th dynasty. Kushite royal ideology and legitimacy appears to have been inextricably linked with the cult of Amun-Ra. As such, it seems that the Kushites perceived Amun-Ra to be the source of their legitimacy in Egypt and Kush. There is no objective evidence from Egypt or Kush that indicates a co-regency between any of the Kushite kings. Further, there is no evidence to suggest that any Kushite monarch appointed their own heir as deputy in Kush. But the biggest question remains, why were the kings of the 25th dynasty welcomed and considered Egyptians? Why did the rulers of this dynasty not mention that they were Kushites? The archaeologist Ahmed Fakhri mentions in his book, Pharaonic Egypt, p. 319-322, that the rulers of the 25th dynasty were Egyptians, whose priests migrated to Kush during the 18th dynasty. He has also mentioned that the Egyptian priests, upon their departure to Kush, had taken with them quite a bit of the wealth of Amun, to live there in luxury, and to control the course of affairs in Kush. It didn't last long until these priests declared themselves masters of the south after they intermarried with the people of Kush, and established a new owner's house, whose creator claimed to be ruler of Kush and Thebes. And Ahmed Fakhri mentions that the first king of this family we know is Alara, who was succeeded by his son Kushta on the throne, then his grandson Bianchi, who spent about 20 years as king in Nabta. When he learned that Tafnakht had begun his march towards Upper Egypt, he sent his order to Thebes to resist and sent an army to help Thebes, and he ordered this army to lay down their weapons and purify themselves before entering the city of Amun. He didn't send this army as an invader, but rather he sent it to support Amun. And these are not the orders of a non-Egyptian person. He learned of the news of the battles and was displeased to leave army chasing the enemy and return to Thebes. That is why he determined to go to Egypt to lead the army himself, and he entered Thebes at the time of the Opet celebration, the largest of Thebes' feasts. Bianchi returned to Nabta after the end of the war and remained there until he died, then his son Shabako succeeded him, then Shabko, then Taharka, who preferred to reside in San al-Hajar, which appears to be the original home of his ancestors. Here ends another Afrocentric lie, and everyone knows what origin they belong to. And Egyptian tomb scenes remind them of their origins. Slaves and prisoners. Dr. Nazi Suleiman was with you. Thank you for listening. Hoping to meet again in a new video next week. Goodbye.